This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Where do I start with this one, guys? Like, seriously, what the hell do I do here? I've been sent an album by Sex-O-Rama, a band whose main influences is 80s porn. Do I talk? Or do I just get the tissues out and rate the album based on how long it takes? Probably not the latter. I doubt anybody wants to listen to 30 seconds of heavy breathing followed by 25 minutes of crying, so I'll leave the tissues in the drawer and talk, yeah? Okay, so the failed promise I'd set myself to not have this review descend into utter depravity has already been thrown so far out of the window it's now a speck on the fucking horizon. But I swear to you that this is not my fault. The press release reads, Invaders from the Pleasure Planet is a pulsating, synth-laden tribute to the unapologetic decadence of the 1980s, an era of neon lights, VHS smut, and wild fantasies made real. Think deep basslines grinding against sweaty synths, moaning melodies dripping with desire, and beats that thrust their way into your subconscious. To anybody that's made it this far, I make no apologies. I know our head honcho Bruce is probably considering never letting me near a microphone again, and this is only going to get worse. Grab the lube. You are going to need it because 26 tracks is an intimidating length. Eye-watering, some might say. But I'm going to try and cram as much of it in as I possibly can, and I'll try and be gentle. Which track to start with? Desperately Doing Susan? Alien Sex Bot? Up the Dirt Road? I'm not making any of this up. When I said it was porn-inspired, they were not messing around. I hit shuffle and hope for the best, and just like that, I'm transported to Peter North sellotaped on Tash in Raunch 4. You can actually look that one up, guys. There's a blinding scene with Bianca Trump. If you want to split hairs, I do know it was 90s porn and not 80s porn, but the way that his Tash flips up when he does stuff with... Okay, that's probably a bit too much information. Focus on the music, Grant. Focus. I'm undeniably surprised when the intro to The Prisoner of Lesbos isn't the sound akin to a thirsty dog at its water bowl. But for all its innuendo thus far, I'm actually pretty impressed with what I'm hearing. Because I love a bit of funk, and my best mate is a crazy talented synth musician, so it's not like electronic music is an alien concept to me. And this track does actually have some nice guitar work on it too. Like, it's not Steve Vai, but it's good, it's effective. It's a nicely paced song, it's a slow, chilled out pace. Meanders all the way up to a satisfying ending. Yes, foreplay if you will. The shuffle position drops to Brats in the Boudoir. Now this is porn music. Not just that, the snare drum timing fits surprisingly well with giving a bad girl or boy a spanking that they deserve. And the changes in the synth do actually kind of depict changes in impact intensity. There's a little bit of unexpected tidy guitar work as well. There's some textbook wah-wah pedal in there, exactly what you'd expect from 80s porn. What I realise at this point in the listening experience is that I've been smiling the whole time. These guys do actually know how to funk. Up the Old Dirt Road is next on my shuffle, which is possibly coming with the most controversial thing I'm going to say in this whole review. I know. This song reminds me of Led Zeppelin. I mean it, man. The song would not feel out of place with Robert Plant screaming, "Well, I'm coming up the dirt road, gonna make your colon sting." Like, you know, on, I think it's Led Zeppelin 2, where they've got that medley of Lemon Song and Killing Floor. Like, it's actually got that feel to it. It's not bad. Shuffle takes me now to the fluffer. And even by this album standards, this is starting to get a little bit weird. It's a sort of cheery, cheesy number that you'd expect on the credits of an early afternoon sitcom. You guys know the one that I'm on about, the one where everybody turns around and faces the camera and smiles as the name appears underneath them. This insane level of cheeriness definitely signifies stark differences in the porn industry in the 80s too, because, and I say this without satire, fluffers in 80s British porn films were usually a crackhead called Kev who had more fingers than teeth. If this was a song about a British fluffer, it would sound more like Joy Division than the cheeriness that I'm experiencing. Room 69 comes on next with my shuffle, penultimate track for this shuffle odyssey, and we're very much wearing 80s porn on our sleeves again, or chins, or chests, or wherever it goes. No nonsense, bouncy synth track, again, nice wah-wah pedal. I scan a few other tracks at this point, and this is definitely the missionary position for the album, I think. It's, you know, it's a good structure for the concept, it's got good angles, it's got solid tempo, it's reliable. Just a little bit simplistic, but it's not like 80s porn was scored with Mozart, you know what I mean? Now, the shuffle ends my session on a song called Russian P-Tape. Now, for all I've taken the piss throughout this song, quite literally, is like doing that. The synth work actually feels like it's mimicking the frequency of a steady stream of liquid. The flourishes are actual tinkles washing over the top of the mix. I'm not making any of this up. But it is something that these guys are actually really getting right with the more avant-garde offerings on this album. Never thought I'd hear myself saying this, but this is a really good musical representation of being pissed on by a group of Russian hookers. And I wholeheartedly mean that as a term of artistic credit. 6 songs in, and I'm spent. I don't have the stamina of my youth, and I just can't take it like I used to. This review has been an experience, I'll say that. But you know what? I didn't stop smiling throughout the listening and throughout making this review. If people like Tim Minchin and Bill Bailey have taught us anything, it's that music that makes you smile is really bloody important, and this album does just that. It's not music to mosh to. Hell, I don't think I'd be able to keep a straight face trying to fuck to it either. But I will most definitely listen to it again, and I will smile just as broadly. And I'm going to close on this. Concept pieces are notoriously difficult to compose. Any musician in the world is going to tell you that. To get an audience to actually experience a broader feeling is an art form in itself. My comments on Russian P-Tape may be comedic, but it's also true, and the same goes for Brats of the Boudoir and probably a few others on the album that I didn't get a chance to listen to. It takes an incredible amount of talent to compose a song that effectively hourly depicts being pissed on, but these guys manage it, and for that, I salute you guys. I don't even know how to rate this album either. We say 4 squirts out of 5, maybe? This has been Grant from the Brutally Delicious podcast, frantically trying to get it up for round 2. Good night.
Hey, this is Chris Swinney, formerly of the Ataris and currently host of That One Time on Tour, part of the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. Have you ever wondered what it's really like on the road? The highs can be euphoric, but the lows can be crushing. Join me every week as I chat with industry pros about what it's like living out their wildest dream and, in some cases, their worst nightmare. Past guests of the show include members of NoFX, Pennywise, Bad Religion, and more. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.